Call the meeting of the Fiscal Court to order. Welcome, everybody, this morning. Weather's a little better today than it's been in a while. Kevin has got a revision that we need to pass on this morning. This is where we gave him some fees back to purchase some automobiles.
Right.
And we have to send this up to to Frankfurt.
That's your copy. I've actually got the originals.
Oh, okay.
For you to sign when it's approved.
All right.
And that way I can take it back. You know, if the court needs to make that official yet or whatnot.
Well, this is just to cover, Kevin, where we amended when he gave us his excess fees and we gave him back money to purchase those cars. So this would be a reconciliation, I guess you'd call it. So I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion approved, Judge.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Is that, okay. Thanks, Steve. All right. Is there anyone else here to address the court this morning? All right. Let's move into correspondence. We have an invitation for the court from the Marshall County Arts Commission. I'll just read the note. The board members of the Marshall County Arts Commission would like to thank you, the Fiscal Court, and the county employees who have provided their services in making the Children's Arts Center a reality. On our behalf, would you please extend our invitation to all of them to join us for lunch on March the 19th, 2014 at the center. Lunch will be served anytime between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. This is a small gesture of appreciation for everything that has been done in preparation of the site and construction and finalization of the building. This is from Patty Sanders, the secretary of the Marshall County Arts Commission. So if you get an opportunity, I believe today is the 19th. March 19th, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, today is the 19th.
It is the 19th.
But I'm just a month early, so you can go down there, but you can't eat, so. Is there any other correspondence from anybody? Let's move into old business. You have all received the minutes of the February 4th meeting of the Fiscal Court. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Motion approved the minutes, Judge.
Have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. At our last meeting, there was, I guess, a question about a board appointee who actually did not live in that district. And I don't think anybody had any problem with the appointment. We just wanted to get clarification. Darren Salmons, staff attorney for the Department for Local Government, has rendered an opinion that that person may serve on the board. So that was the question that we had that we wanted answered, and the Department for Local Government has given the answer. So I guess we can just say we'll let the appointment stand.
That there is a provision in that statute that restricts residency to the district, but that apparently only applies to the property owner.
Landowner appointees.
Yes.
Who are elected.
Right.
That's where that statute applies. So if there's no objection, we'll let the
Have none.
appointment
That was a
stand.
recommendation.
Yes. We did receive from Jackson purchased two-way radio a quote to hopefully solve our problem with our animal control and sheriff's department, getting better communication, I
I
guess.
think that will clarify.
It's something to do with the tower, right?
The antenna, had some problems with connections going to the antenna up top, and that was discovered, and that's probably gonna be the reason why the communication for animal control was so poor.
Yeah.
So, with that being corrected, I think that'll clear everything up.
All right. The cost of the repairs is $1,950. And this is a quote from Jackson Purchase Two-Way Radio, who we deal with for our communication. Do I hear a motion to, what?
Luke, you had said something about cost sharing.
That's what I was
and
gonna ask. Is that a antenna that's used by several agencies? Is there another issue where we cost share
No.
like we did on one of the other ones? So it's solely used for,
it was fire department.
It's animal control, it's their channel. The only way we would use it, because it does, the licensing does belong to the sheriff's office. That is our backup channel whenever we have a situation where we have to clear our main channel for, a very tense situation or whatnot. Then we will switch over to that one to do regular radio communication. That doesn't happen very often at all.
But you need it to be available.
But it needs to be available, whereas, that is a channel solely that we've dedicated for animal control, and we would use it maybe once or twice a year, possibly. So,
Okay. What's your pleasure?
Motion approved, Judge.
We have a motion to approve the upgrade of the tower for our communications with our animal control. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Next, we have the second reading of our building code ordinance. Our PVA has asked that we have a quick executive session to talk about this just a minute before we have the second reading. I know it's a little early to have an executive session, but if you would indulge, I think Tony and Wendy would like to talk with us, and I think Emily has a question she would like to ask as well. So I would entertain a motion to
Motion going
go
executive
into
session.
executive session. We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, we'll be in executive session for a short period. Call the court back into regular session. We're talking about the expanded jurisdiction. Tony, would you elaborate just a little bit on what we're talking about?
As far as why we're having to implement the residential code?
Yes.
Tony, can you come up to the,
Folks, this is a complicated issue.
Yeah, I think so. The expanded jurisdiction that the county's had the pleasure of having for many years, I don't know exactly how many, that basically allows us to do the inspections for commercial structures in the county level rather than waiting on the state, which can sometimes be 4 to 6 months before an inspection actually happens. In order to renew that, they changed the wording, I guess, to say, yes, we'll continue to let you have the expanded jurisdiction, but you'll have to adopt the residential code and enforce it at the county level as well. So that's what we've run into. And the enforcing of the residential code is a big change for Marshall County. Of course, the county doesn't have zoning. There's really not been any restrictions on what people could do outside of the cities or outside of subdivisions. This would put some restrictions on them as far as what they can do. Permits would have to be pulled for just about everything. Not
Even a
just-
deck.
Yeah, not just the construction of a home, but assuming that you're not on a farm, any sort of a detached garage, really anything over 200 square feet would have to be inspected. If you had a mobile home, of course, those are already inspected with HUD standards, but if you decided to put a porch to get out of the mobile home, you would have to pull a permit for that to make sure that it was up to the KRC standards. So it's a big change that would implement a lot of work for the county. As I said, I mean, without the zoning, we really don't have anything in place to handle something this massive as far as to enforce it, to police it. So it'd be a lot of work possibly involving new employees, a new fee schedule. So I guess that's kind of the short rundown.
And to clarify a little bit to me of why, why we want expanded jurisdiction, it's an economic development issue, to me anyway, and I'm not very happy with the whole circumstances, but we can give that up, but then we change from being able to approve a commercial structure in our county maybe a week to 2 weeks. From there, the state then would take 4 to 6 months to make those kind of decisions and make those approvals. And when they do that, then you could certainly have companies change their mind about whether they wanted to site here.
Yeah, especially small businesses, whether
Exactly.
they be like the Dollar General stores type example.
Exactly.
Some of the new restaurants we've had open. I mean, economic status of the county could change in 4 to 6 months, and they may decide not to do it after all, waiting just on the state level. So definite impact. And then, of
That's
course,
a
we also,
concern.
with the plants,
It's sort of a catch-22
Oh, God.
that we're in. However, after talking with our committee that's been looking at this situation, it is our feeling that we postpone the second reading of ordinance 2014-01 until such time as we can get our grasp upon what all this entails. Now, we do know, and Tony alluded to it, it's gonna take another person, and we feel like his office would be the place, the proper place for that person to be located. That's a staff person paid for by the county. Then you have to have an inspector, which theoretically would be paid from the fees. But I don't know if the people of the county realize how expansive this thing is gonna be if it is enacted the way the state, and this was thrown upon us, if you will, at the state level.
right? And there is no, to my understanding, the code is accepted in its entirety. You can make it more stringent, but you can't loosen the requirements.
Well, and for clarification, when we met with the state last year, this is not the information we were given. It's changed, and then from the time we began considering what we would have to do to put this in place, the revision was made in 2013, so this is not representative of what we've even been discussing in its entirety. There's a lot of new,
There are small changes.
Restrictions.
Yes.
You are correct, Commissioner Drew. I mean, it's a moving target.
right.
We were told one thing, and we thought, well, this will be fairly simple to do. And we all thought at that time, well, this is the right thing to do. And we started moving on it, and as we did, we've had, I believe, 2 meetings with the
Right.
state rep, and the story changed each time.
Yeah, they haven't been very productive.
And I'm not being critical. I guess the rules are changing. I don't know.
Wait, but it's like Bob said, it is an economic issue because the state representative sat here and told us that they can't handle the amount of commercial inspections. So if we were to lose our expanded jurisdiction, it's not that we're guesstimating it would be several months in delays. He told us it would be several months in delays
Yeah.
for us to get those permits.
Right. And it's
And
hard
let me clarify, that's not our state representative who votes for us in
No,
Frankfurt. This is
right.
a representative of the State Department of Housing and
Yes.
Building Construction.
Right.
So I just think, and if y'all disagree, let me know, but I just feel like at this point in time, we should table any further action on this until we can sit down with our group. I think y'all are even talking about going to Frankfurt, Jeff, and discussing this further with somebody, even maybe the Attorney General, because we're not the only county that this is affecting. Some counties have just said, no, we're not gonna do anything.
Right, and in some
In fact,
counties
it's
haven't
us and McCracken today, or you say?
Yeah, some counties, like you said, haven't even been presented with this yet because the expanded jurisdiction renewals are staggered. So it's not like every county is up in arms all at once. And then another issue, going back kind of across everything, trying to look at other counties that have either said yes or no. It's so hard to differentiate between, or so hard to make apples to apples comparisons, I guess. We don't have zoning, a lot of the other counties do have zoning. Some of them have made the rules more stringent. So trying to compare Marshall County to say, well, we'll just do what another county did, very difficult to do. So we're kind of blazing new ground.
Well, I think the difficulty would be, and the rules are there, if you wanted to put a little deck on the back of your house, and you have to come in and pay a permit fee and be inspected and all that, I think you're almost gonna have people up in arms.
I would,
But I don't know how we get
That's what-
away from that.
That's what it says.
I know that's what it says.
right. And it's important to note that all of these things are subject to the code anyway.
Yeah.
It's just now the county would be enforcing them
Exactly.
locally.
That's correct.
Everything is subject to the code.
That's correct. That was how it's written is that all buildings are subject to the Kentucky Building Code and with no exception, other than the exceptions within the reg. And then basically the state has said, we don't want any part of enforcing this code. But for you to have expanded jurisdiction and help your economic development situation, you're gonna have to do it yourself.
That's exactly correct.
But we're also talking about remodeling, Bob.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna remodel your house, if you do certain things, you're gonna have to get a permit.
Yeah, any addition or deletion to an existing structure, or really anything that changes the floor plan, I guess you could say, of the structure, would have to pull a permit.
I'd move that we table this until, say, we can have another discussion, the first meeting in April. That sound reasonable?
That give you time, Jeff, to explore options?
Yeah.
I'd
Well, the
second.
first meeting in April is just a couple of weeks away. No, no, I'm
Gives you
sorry.
March.
Yeah, April.
March, you said April.
Yeah, April.
Man, I'm not tracking. All right, we have,
I
the
second the
motion
motion.
is we'll take this up again. We'll postpone this until the first meeting in April. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. And it may be that we won't get our answers by then, but
May
we'll,
not. We
we'll
can-
try. And this is a real complicated issue, and I appreciate you guys for working so hard on this thing. Just bear with us. Any other old business? All right, let's move into new business. I have the financial settlement from our county clerk, Tim York. Tim had receipts of $9,713,755.16. He had total disbursements of $9,481,301.50. Excess fees paid to the county, which we have already received his check, was $232,453.66. I would entertain a motion to approve the settlement, subject to audit, of our county clerk, Tim York.
Motion approved, Judge.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. From Kenny Jones, our chairman of the Hardin South Marshall Fire Protection District, firefighter Mike Painter has left the Hardin South Marshall Fire Department, leaving a vacancy on the board. A special election was held February 10th during a training session at the department. Board member Kenny Jones was present to count the ballots. Gary Freeman was elected firefighter representative to fill the unexpired term of Mike Painter. I would need a motion to approve. This is a firefighter representative that was elected by his fellow firefighters.
Motion to approve that appointment.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Chapel Lane request, is that yours, Mr.?
Yes, sir. I don't know what the process would be. I've spoken with Russell about it, but that road is extremely narrow. And somewhere along the way, some commercial vehicles, I guess kind of, there was a business established there, and they've got a lot of heavy equipment, dump trucks, things of that nature traveling on that road. And what's happening is whenever they pass a vehicle, they're having to go off in the yards of some of the local residents. And so it's becoming a real problem. and they wanted to know if we would consider some sort of a widening to be able to accommodate regular flow of traffic to vehicles, considering that they have commercial vehicles. I think it's Bud Davis's road, if I'm not mistaken.
Bud Davis Construction is what's
Yes,
on
I
it.
think that
All
they're the
right,
ones that are.
is this a county road in our system now?
Yes.
Do we have enough right-of-way to do
Right
that?
now, we've just got 24 foot.
Could we get some additional
They
right-of-way?
have said that they would be willing to dedicate some right-of-way. Can someone look at it and tell us what you would need, what you think would be adequate? And then I can work on getting the permissive forms from the residents, anybody that we would need to get that right-of-way from.
All right, Russell, if you and your staff would
Okay.
look into that and report back to me and Mrs. Drew on how much right-of-way we would need to acquire from those property owners.
Okay.
Do you know if they would want to do it on both sides or
Yes.
just one side?
The resident that contacted me said that if needs be, that he would just dedicate his property, but he felt like the other residents would
Should
be
be
willing
half
to do
and
that,
half.
so it could be fairly distributed.
Sure.
And then I also, Judge, I got a call last night, I apologize, I wasn't able to get it on here, but I got a call from a real estate agent asking us to consider taking into the county road system Gavin Lane. It is actually a road that was put in by Bud Davis, similar to the last one that was taken in. She feels it's up to specs, curbed and everything ready to go. It was just, I guess when he develops those subdivisions, he never takes the final step to get them taken into the county for whatever reason. And there are some residents on that road that are requesting that it become a county road. So I told her that I'd bring the request before you all.
What we'll need for them to do is get the
Road.
proper forms
Okay,
and sign them, and
Okay.
then we will appoint the viewers and
Okay.
have a public hearing. But that's no problem, because usually when he does a subdivision, he meets our standards. But
exactly.
Melanie, could you give her one of those
Yeah.
forms and let them fill it out? And what was the name of that, Gavin?
Gavin Lane, it's in Sharp,
Okay.
Sit off Scale Road.
that little subdivision back there.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Okay.
All right, from Marshall County Animal Shelter, we have our January report and then our annual report. In January, animals in the pen as of 12/31/13 was 51. Animals brought in by wardens, 19. Animals brought in by citizens, 69. Total of 88, 33 dogs, 14 cats, 39 puppies, and 2 kittens. We've adopted 76. We have 6 in foster care, reclaimed 9, euthanized 1. Animals in the pen at the end of January 2014 was 53. Our adoption fees for the month was $1,781. For the calendar year of 2013, we took in 1,070 animals. 342 brought in by wardens, 728 brought in by citizens. That's 396 dogs, 216 cats, 234 puppies, 224 kittens. Of that total, we adopted 885. We had reclaimed 84 and euthanized 101. Our donations for the year, we had $35,664. Adoptions, $15,028.20, for a total money taken into the shelter for the year 2013, $51,192.20. Our animal control and our animal shelter personnel are quite busy. They're doing a good job. I might add that one of our workers fell on the ice, broke her nose, had to have surgery. She's doing great. She's hard to hold down. I think she's back at work, isn't she?
She was back to work, she had surgery on Tuesday, and she was back to work by Thursday.
It's unbelievable. I kind of got on her a little bit for trying to come back too quick, but she's a very dedicated employee, and we appreciate him very much. We continue, and I think Mike can tell you, we continue to get an unusual amount of animals here in the county. But we appreciate the efforts of our animal control officers and also our shelter personnel. From the Marshall County Refuse District, we have their audit from Pearson Associates. I have read the audit. It was a clean audit, and it's here for anyone to review. But I would entertain a motion to accept the audit of the Refuse Disposal District by Pearson Associates
Motion
of
to
Murray.
accept, Judge.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Now, also, we have to send these reports. Do we send them, or do they send them mail up to, we send them up, copies up to the state auditor. We also have the audit for the Marshall County Public Library, conducted by Romine and Associates. It's here for your review. I would entertain a motion to accept the audit.
Motion to accept the audit, Judge.
We have a motion to accept the audit of the Marshall County Library District. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Second.
Oh, I need a second.
Second.
Second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Treasurer's report, Emily.
January 31st, 2014, the general fund had a book balance of $1,057,573.25. Road fund, $769,229.52. The jail fund, $79,287.60. The grant fund, $6526.87. 911 fund, $166,620.15. Occupational tax administrator, $2,128,700.80. And the veterans van fund, $1,687.59, for a total of $4,209,625.78.
Any questions of Emily? Entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report subject to audit.
So moved, Judge.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. There is a bill, just talking about the Veterans Van Fund, there is a bill that is being proposed to our General Assembly that $1 million be placed in a fund yearly for public transportation of veterans, those who have been honorably discharged. Of course, Marshall and the other counties, the purchase area, and Livingston and Lyon have been providing transportation for our veterans to Marion, to the Veterans Hospital, for some years now. If this passes, this potentially could give us some relief. We all put in $500 apiece, and of course, the veterans then have volunteers that help to take these people from the purchase area and to the Pennyroyal areas. And I think for a while, Massac County, Illinois was participating, but I don't think they have in the last few years, have they, Emily? Massac County?
I don't think they
We-
have, no. They have not.
We may still pick up a few people there, I don't know, but I'm hoping this bill will get favorable passage, but looking at the way they're trying to cut things, I'm not really optimistic that it'll pass, but we'll see. You heard from Tony, our PVA, in the last, I think the last fiscal court meeting, about, was it 20 million taken out of y'all's funds, Tony? From the PVA statewide, and the recommendation was that local governments make up that by assessing each of our special taxing districts a certain fee for your service?
Right, similar to the way that they do to cities, but yes, it's 80%.
Yeah.
20 that was taken from that statewide. Yeah, even at the local level, 80% was taken from our budget that's basically given to us by the county and then sent straight to Franklin to cover shortages.
My problem with their proposition is that they're leaving out certain taxing districts. In other words, they're gonna hit the fire districts, they're gonna hit some others, but others they've left out. The executive director of the PVAs was in my office last week, and we discussed it. And I said, I cannot be in favor of this bill unless it involves everybody. Everybody pay their fair share. You know, I really don't like it anyway, taking that money away, because it just puts the burden back on local government. But we'll see where that is. Do you know what the status of the bill is, Tony, at this point?
I do not from the last legislative update I got Monday, I think, or Tuesday, yeah, Monday. So no, nothing's been done that I'm aware of so far.
Well, Mac appeared before a committee, and then he also appeared before the judge executives, our legislative committee, and we really, I think we voted just to monitor the bill, but there was no great enthusiasm from the judge executives to put that burden back on fiscal courts. So we'll follow that.
Judge, do you know what bill number that is? I have a conference call with our lobby team in Frankfurt this afternoon.
I'm not sure. I probably got it downstairs, Randy. Of course, as Randy reported to you before, tourism has taken a big hit by about how many million, Randy?
9 million out of restricted funds.
9 million out of restricted funds. So there's a lot of things going on, and it'll get fast and furious during the last couple of months of the legislature. So stay in touch with your director. I know Bob's going up for a meeting tonight and tomorrow with the Magistrates Commissioners Association. So these things will start going fast and furious. I don't know, does anybody recall when the last filing day is? There's a drop dead date, but I
I
can't
saw it the
remember.
other day, it's like, is it March 15th?
It's somewhere in March, but I'm not sure.
You know, there is a bill on our 911 issue, the funding for 911, it's out there. Somebody was brave enough to put it out there. I don't know if they're gonna do it, they're gonna take, that would take the fees on cell phones from 70 cents to $1.
It come from down this way, didn't it?
I forget the lady's name.
Representative, I think, was down this way that's introduced that bill. if I'm
Well,
not
Barrows,
mistaken.
Joe Barrows, who we've talked to time and again, Kev, as you know, is the director of 911 statewide. I had hoped that that would go to $1.25, but they compromised on $1. Of course, that will
Better than nothing.
help tremendously.
It's
We-
not out of committee yet, though, I don't
No,
think.
it's
No,
not.
it is not.
It's not.
We subsidize 911, I believe, $125,000 a year, Emily. And that could cut our subsidy down considerably, but we'll have to wait and see what the end result is of that legislation. Payroll accounts receivable. Emily?
For 2013, everybody paid every bit of their payroll back. For 2014, January 31st, 2014, the sheriff's office owed $116,258.72.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the accounts receivable report.
Make that motion, Judge.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
We've already had our executive session. You've had an opportunity to review the bills. Do I hear a motion to pay the bills?
Motion to pay the bills, Judge.
I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Russell and I have been talking about some needs at the road department. And Russell, you wanna bring them up to speed on what we're looking at?
We've got a pickup truck, it needs to be replaced, and I'd just like to ask permission to advertise bids for a new one to replace it, and also permission, if we get it, to purchase snow removal equipment.
For that truck,
Yes.
okay? You
Russell,
heard-
I'm sorry, where are you at on the tractors? Did you mention something about needing to order those earlier this
Well,
year
we
as
need to
well?
talk about it probably,
Maybe next month?
probably in March or April, and that way and hold off the payment till July on our
Yeah.
next budget. but it takes about 3 months or a little longer to get them after we order them.
Yeah. I told Russ we could discuss that in around April, second meeting in March, early April, because it will take that long, and we will build that into to next year's budget.
I just didn't
This
want to
one will
miss
come
mowing
out,
season.
we've got the money
Yes.
in our equipment account for this year, for the request that he's asking for. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the request.
Makes it easy.
Prepare your bid sheets and get ready for that. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Any other business come before the court?
Judge, I just have one thing. There was a issue that was brought to my attention. It was an inconsistency, I guess, in the way some of our employees are compensated, and the question was asked, I've asked Emily about it. Some of our employees are asking if comp time is available to them, if they can go salary as opposed to hourly. We do have some employees that have had that option, and I guess that's become known. And so I guess I would ask the court, is there a way that we could make that consistent across the board? Is there a way that we could offer the ability for people to go salary with comp time as opposed to hourly with overtime if they chose? I'm guessing that there are some who would like the opportunity to be salaried with comp time options versus hourly with overtime.
Jeff, the law on that is
Well-
if you work so many hours, we have to.
Now, there, you have to distinguish between, what it is in our manual, between exempt and non-exempt. The administrative positions are generally exempt and can utilize comp time.
Comp time.
The non-exempt are the other workers which are entitled to overtime.
But if they wanted to be salaried in comp time, could they be? That was the question that was asked of me, and
I don't think you can just, I mean, I think it has to be more of an administrative type position.
So employees could not.
Just opt in or out.
Just opt in or
No,
out.
you can't just opt in or out as an employee that I'm aware of. I can further, check that further, I hadn't,
we do have some that are that way. Just,
Okay.
so is that something we need to correct
well,
so that it's consistent?
some that have just opted into it.
They have submitted a document to us that says that they would prefer to receive comp time in lieu of overtime, and it's given to them at an overtime, at an hour for hour and a half.
Well, let me have the opportunity to review that with her.
Is there, what does our manual say?
Well, I don't think our manual provides for that.
I didn't think so, but.
Let, I would like
We
to,
need to look into it.
let me review that with what's going on.
But
there.
what you're saying is, let me see if I understand, Misty, some of these people are wanting to be considered a salaried employee rather than a hourly employee, but then you're saying that some people are saying, well, they didn't necessarily want to change that, but they wanted to take comp time rather than overtime. Is that what you?
They would rather have the ability to have comp time than be paid overtime, is what I'm taking from it, which would, I guess be a savings in terms of what we pay in overtime. Obviously, they're gone, so it's kind of a wash, but I didn't know the answer to it. I didn't know,
Something in state law says you have to
Yeah.
pay overtime if.
Right.
if they're hourly.
Let me,
But they're asking if they could convert that to a salaried position like some of the other employees have and then be eligible for comp time.
let me review it and
Okay.
I'll report back.
I was about to say, wouldn't it be like what we are? I mean, we get a salary regardless of how many hours we show up. But it's not, you're thinking that they're trading their comp time for time and a half.
If they worked overtime,
Yeah,
they are then taking, if they work 3 hours overtime today, then they get time and a half for that, and they're able to take that.
That's not what I'm asking. I didn't even, that's probably a separate issue, how you would convert that comp time to equate to a time and a half. I'm just talking,
Right, there's
some
no-
people have
yeah,
asked, could
we
they,
just do an
yeah.
equation
So it's
there.
probably two different things
Yeah, 'cause
that we need to.
I've always understood, because myself, of course, we're salaried, and I've got one salaried employee at the sheriff's office. And gets the same amount regardless of how many hours that person puts in. Period. Doesn't get any compensation for anything that way. That's the way I do it, and I don't know if that's the same thing you're asking or not.
Well, I think.
But I don't multiply
I think
the,
that falls into a non-exempt,
exactly,
or
yeah.
an exempt.
Yeah.
They're exempt, that person. But this would be non-exempt personnel, I think that she's asking about.
Well, let Jeff look into it and report back, but I think we need to refer to our manual too. Any other business? All right, at this time, I would like to entertain a motion to go into recess and take a short break and then come back for a workshop. As you know, we will be voting at our next meeting on an entertainment permit for the racetrack over in Calvert City. There's been a lot of information that's been provided to the members of the fiscal court, both pro and con, and we are gonna have to set the hours. Now, this is not a meeting or a workshop where we take public comment. That has been done. We have already had our public hearing. This is just for the court to talk about. I mean, everybody's welcome to stay. We're just gonna discuss parameters, I guess. There's been some suggestions made that things they would like to see implemented, which, to be frank with you, we don't have the authority to do. I think our job is to either issue the permit and then set the hours, or say no. And there's 3 reasons you have for saying no to an entertainment permit, and Jeff elaborated on those, and so did Mike Foster at the last meeting. So let's take about a 5-minute recess and then come back for the work session. Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.